The South Market District as a neighborhood was conceptualized to add a mixed-use environment to what about 3 years ago was simply surface parking lots. The options at that time that parking garage manufacturers will offer will be a very simple sort of, you will see it as a parking garage, you recognize the building type. But obviously we wanted to find a way to push the design, to push the ideas that this was more than a parking garage and it actually had to react to where its place was. And that's when the idea of a really strong first floor commercial and retail space and how this building would gracefully actually meet the ground. When you typically have a building like a parking garage, a pre-engineered parking garage, right, you will have the structural piece and then somebody else will typically do the enclosure. One of the beautiful things about precast is that you can have very beautiful cast shape built pieces. Part of the scale of the idea of breaking the building mass on the edges, the roundedness of the facade, the crispness of the precast allowed us to actually have a beautiful product. It was really kind of the idea of blending, having a lightweight structure that in between the contrast of the darkness of the openings, in between the fins, allowed to a beautiful pattern. We utilized then, for example, a wood screen that was still open, but it created sort of the idea of sense of entrance and how that combined with this sort of very slim canopies provided protection, shade for the glass storefront, but as well created a very sort of harmonic entry sequence on the corner as you approach the building. We had a really strict budget. Every piece that you have to erect, it actually is a cost. Every time a crane picks up a piece and puts it, it's cost to the project. So as the building was being erected, these huge frames that sit behind the precast fins will allow them to pick them up and put them in place on ease and obviously time. I think the experience, particularly with Tindall, was really magnificent. How do you design a building that is beautiful in an urban condition that responds to the urban condition that happens to be a parking garage? So I think the project has sit in the neighborhood very nicely. Everybody that we hear are talking positive about the project, and I'm actually surprised how a parking garage can be beautiful for a city compared to our existing body of parking garage around that the central business district.